The CEO crushed a single dad's garage lease. 21 days later, he bought her entire factory. The letter arrived on a rainy Tuesday morning, folded neatly inside a white envelope that looked harmless from the outside. But by the time Noah Carter finished reading it, his hands were shaking, and his entire world felt like it was collapsing around him. 20 years of hard work. 20 years of sacrifice. 20 years spent building a small garage from nothing. And all of it was about to disappear because one powerful CEO decided she wanted the land. The worst part wasn't losing the garage. The worst part was knowing that his 12-year-old son, Mason, would have to watch him lose everything he had fought so hard to build. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and never giving up when life gets difficult, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs inspiration today, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories. The city of Dayton, Ohio, was still waking up when Noah stood alone inside Carter Auto Repair. The garage wasn't much to look at. The paint was faded. The sign was old. The office furniture had seen better days. But to Noah, it was home. Every wrench hanging on the wall carried a memory. Every oil stain on the floor represented years of honest work. Every customer who walked through the door knew they would be treated fairly. After his wife Hannah passed away from an illness 7 years earlier, the garage became more than a business. It became the foundation that held his small family together. Noah worked long hours repairing vehicles while raising Mason alone. There were nights when money was tight. Weeks when bills piled up. Months when he wondered how much longer he could keep going. Yet somehow, he always found a way. Then everything changed when a massive manufacturing company announced plans to build a new industrial expansion near the area. The company was owned by Victoria Sterling, one of the most successful CEOs in the state. At 46 years old, Victoria was known throughout the business world as brilliant, ambitious, and ruthless. Her company employed thousands. Her factories generated millions. And when she wanted something, she usually got it. Unfortunately, what she wanted was the land where Noah's garage stood. At first, representatives approached him with offers. Noah politely declined. The garage wasn't for sale. Then the offers increased. Again, Noah refused. The garage represented his entire life. Weeks later, the legal notices began arriving. Technical lease issues. Property disputes. Contract complications. Suddenly, Noah discovered that the land beneath his garage had been purchased through a complicated corporate acquisition. Within days, he received official notice. His lease would be terminated. He had 30 days to vacate. Noah felt sick. He hired lawyers he couldn't afford. He fought every legal battle possible. But Victoria Sterling's corporation had teams of attorneys. The outcome was inevitable. 21 days before the final deadline, Noah stood inside his garage staring at empty customer bays. Many clients had already begun taking their business elsewhere. Employees started searching for new jobs. Bills continued arriving. Everything he had built was slipping away. One evening, Mason found his father sitting alone in the office long after closing time. Rain tapped softly against the windows. Stacks of unpaid invoices covered the desk. For the first time in years, Noah looked defeated. Mason didn't fully understand contracts or corporations. But he understood pain. He understood watching his father work 18-hour days. He understood how much that garage meant. The boy quietly placed a photograph on the desk. It was an old picture of Noah, Hannah, and Mason standing in front of the garage years earlier. All three were smiling. Noah stared at the photo for a long time. Then something inside him changed. Instead of surrendering, he decided to fight differently. If he couldn't save the garage through legal battles, he would save it through innovation. The next morning, Noah began researching something he had noticed over the years. Many manufacturing plants struggled with maintenance costs because replacement machine parts were expensive and often unavailable. Using his mechanical expertise, Noah started designing specialized replacement components that could be produced faster and cheaper. It sounded impossible. But impossible was all he had left. For days, he barely slept. For nights, he worked until sunrise. Mason helped whenever he could. Together, father and son transformed the garage into a workshop focused on creating solutions instead of simply repairing cars. Then an unexpected opportunity appeared. A regional manufacturing company experienced a critical equipment failure. Production stopped. The company faced enormous financial losses. Noah learned about the situation through a customer. He immediately contacted them. Using equipment already available in his garage, he designed and produced a replacement component within 48 hours. The manufacturing company was stunned. The repair worked perfectly. Production resumed. The company saved hundreds of thousands of dollars. News spread quickly. Another company called. Then another. Then 5 more. Within a week, Noah's tiny garage was receiving requests from businesses across Ohio. What started as a desperate attempt to survive became something much larger. Revenue exploded. Demand skyrocketed. Investors noticed. One investor in particular became fascinated by Noah's story. His name was Richard Bennett, a retired entrepreneur who had built and sold several successful industrial businesses. After visiting the garage personally, Richard saw something extraordinary. He didn't just see a struggling mechanic. He saw a visionary problem solver. Within days, Richard offered funding. The investment allowed Noah to expand operations immediately. New equipment arrived. Additional workers were hired. Contracts multiplied. By the 20th day after receiving the eviction notice, Noah's company was worth more than he had ever imagined possible. Then came the shocking discovery. While Noah's business was growing rapidly, Victoria Sterling's corporation was facing serious trouble. Years of aggressive expansion had created hidden financial weaknesses. Several major projects were underperforming. Investors were losing confidence. Debt was increasing. Stock values were falling. The market began reacting harshly. As news spread, shareholders panicked. Within days, the company's valuation dropped dramatically. Richard Bennett recognized an opportunity. Together with several investment partners, he approached Noah with an unbelievable proposal. The group wanted to acquire controlling ownership of Victoria's struggling manufacturing division. And they wanted Noah to lead it. At first, he laughed. The idea sounded absurd. Just 3 weeks earlier, he was fighting to save a small garage. Now people were talking about purchasing a factory. But the numbers made sense. The investors provided funding. Noah contributed his rapidly growing business. Negotiations moved quickly. Then came the day nobody could have predicted. 21 days after Victoria Sterling crushed his garage lease, Noah Carter signed documents that gave him ownership of the factory division she was forced to sell. The same factory that had once threatened his future now belonged to him. Yet the most remarkable part of the story happened afterward. Many people expected revenge. Many assumed Noah would treat others the way he had been treated. Instead, he chose a different path. When he visited the factory for the first time as owner, he met employees worried about layoffs and closures. Families feared losing income. Workers feared uncertainty. Noah remembered exactly how that felt. He remembered sleepless nights. He remembered fear. He remembered standing alone with nowhere to turn. Rather than making cuts, he invested in people. Training programs expanded. Workplace conditions improved. Employees gained opportunities for advancement. Productivity increased. Morale soared. The factory became profitable again. Months later, Noah received a request for a private meeting. Victoria Sterling wanted to speak with him. By then, she was no longer the powerful executive everyone feared. Her empire had shrunk. Her reputation had suffered. Life had humbled her. During that meeting, she admitted something she had never told anyone. She had never considered the human cost behind her decisions. For years, she viewed people as numbers and properties as assets. Meeting Noah's workers and witnessing his leadership forced her to see business differently. For the first time, she understood that success meant more than profits. It meant people. Noah listened quietly. Then he chose forgiveness. Not because she deserved it, but because carrying bitterness would only poison his own future. That decision surprised everyone. Yet it perfectly reflected the man he had always been. A father. A worker. A leader. And above all, a person who refused to let hardship change his character. Before we reach the end, if this story has touched your heart in any way, please leave a comment with the words, "Kindness creates miracles." Your comment helps more people discover stories like this and spreads positivity to others who may need encouragement today. Years later, visitors entering the factory headquarters often noticed a framed photograph hanging in Noah's office. It wasn't a picture of the factory. It wasn't a picture of awards or achievements. It was the same old photograph Mason had placed on the desk during that rainy evening. The photo of a small family standing proudly in front of a modest garage. Whenever someone asked why he kept it there, Noah would simply smile. Because that picture reminded him of the most important lesson of his life. Sometimes losing what you think is everything is actually the beginning of something greater. Sometimes the door that closes isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of a better chapter. And sometimes the people who try to break your future accidentally become the reason you discover your true potential. Noah never forgot where he started. He never forgot the struggle. And he never forgot that success means very little unless you use it to help others rise with you. The garage was gone. But the dream survived. The pain was real. But so was the comeback. And in the end, the single father who was supposed to lose everything proved that determination, kindness, and courage can accomplish what money and power never will. Because the strongest people are not those who crush others on their way to the top. They are the ones who keep their hearts intact while climbing higher than anyone thought possible. The end.